Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. You join us at Duxford for an early morning out of hours takeoff with my mate Dane. We were just going to go up because the weather's really nice, and we've got a feeling that there's going to be more lockdowns coming because, as we all know, lockdowns work and that's why we have to keep doing them. So we're going to take my little PA28 that I own a share in, Golf Papa Kilo, off from Duxford, and our plan is to get to as near to the South Wold coast as we can. That's up in Norfolk, before we have to turn round because someone else has got the plane at 11 o'clock. Also, I'm going to give Dane a few little mini responsibilities because he's thinking of doing his pilot's licence as well. I'm really sorry about that, Dane, but once the bug's in, I'm afraid, a little bit like COVID, it's never coming out again. Anyway, there's also some potty mouth chit chat from me and Dane as we fly about. So sit back, enjoy this flight. We're going to be doing some max penetrations as well. So you'll hear us talking to American air traffic. We'll also do a quick circuit, but it's a beautiful day. So just come along with us, enjoy the ride over East Anglia on this mid-winter's morning.
Golf Papa Kilo, taxiing to runway 24. No one coming? Because there's no one here, we might do a quick circuit actually if you want.
Yeah, sounds good, mate.
It's nuts how it knows that. Then to the runway 24. Bit of a crosswind. Golf Papa Kilo taking off. Fuel pressure good, everything in the green, speed live, wants to fly.
Oh, I guess it looks like such a lovely thing to do, but taking off is a really critical part of our flight, and it's the bit there. Dane's looking out the window, but all I'm looking at is our VSI, our engine gauges, oil pressure, fuel pressure, any fluctuations in them, and it's like, oh, we've got a problem. Also keep a very close eye on my airspeed. We don't want the nose to lift up into a stall. So yeah, there's a lot to look at.
There's quite a lot of cloud over there.
That's what I was about to say. Looked really clear, but there's a fair chunk over here, isn't there?
It's supposed to clear, but right, we can turn downwind. This is like standard kind of practice.
So we were planning a flight out to Southwold, like I said, but I didn't think we were going to get enough time to get there and then follow the coast back round underneath Wattisham's airspace and hopefully get some sort of traffic service with Wattisham, because I think Wattisham are closed now. So we thought what we'd do is get a quick circuit in and then see how far we got.
Right, okay, so checks fuel on there, carb heat, put a bit of carb heat in, we're a bit high. Now let's get down a bit. Golf Papa Kilo downwind.
I thought it would be a good thing for Dane to see what you do about a million squillion times when you're doing flying lessons, just going around doing circuits with an instructor or on your own.
Let's just take quite a bit of that off. Hold the nose up.
So because we're descending, we've got our carb heat in, we've got our revs just dropped back to about 1700 RPM in this plane. Then we hold the nose up until our airspeed is within the white arc that denotes that we can deploy flaps safely without damaging anything, and then we pop that one stage of flap in.
Well, I just can't see anything because there's sun more than anything else. Right, so now we turn this crosswind leg.
Are your sunglasses polarised?
Yeah. Keep an eye out for that other plane, I know where he is. He isn't a 10th ounce where he could be.
He's down, isn't he, on the runway?
Yeah. Duxford traffic, Golf Papa Kilo base.
You notice I'm making blind calls to Duxford traffic. That is because Duxford's tower doesn't open until 10 in the morning and we've taken off before then. We know there's another plane in the circuit, which is why I've said Duxford traffic, Golf Papa Kilo, turning base. So that traffic now on the same frequency will know roughly where we are to look out for us and hopefully keep separation.
So this is like, you do this a million fucking times when you're learning to fly. You just get, after a while you get dizzy. We'll do a touch and go here. Right, so let's get that nose up a bit. Get rid of some of that height as well. Duxford traffic, Golf Papa Kilo final, runway 24. Right, full flap. Nose up. Stable approach. So now we do a crap test. Wrap check. So when you're sort of 300 feet, ditch the carb heat. Runway clear, approach stable, permission granted.
So hopefully you heard there the crap check. It's not a rude word. It's a way for us to remember some critical actions in the last part of final, which is carb heat, or as I call them, the afterburners, cold. Runway is clear, the approach is stable, so we've got a good speed, good height, doesn't look like we're out of control, and above all, permission granted to land. John Travolta would have been happy with that landing, it was so greasy. I really love Dane's reaction here from when we put the throttle back in, because we've got quite a lot of trim still there from when we came into land, because we were trimming the nose up to get our landing speed right.
Oh.
But just watch the plane climb when we've still got that trim in, and I'm just trying to keep the nose down with the yoke.
Duxford traffic, Golf Papa Kilo taking off, runway 24.
So now, as I intend to leave the circuit, I'll put the QNH pressure into our altimeter
1015.
and continue a banking climb throughout the crosswind and downwind legs up to 2,000 feet QNH.
There you go, circuit.
Mate, that little touch and go was well good. That's fun, that. But it never gets old either, does it?
Nah, circuits are good fun, mate. I quite like. I mean,
Do you find it even a bit more nervous when you go up on your own, even if like you're up with someone like me? Like obviously I don't have a clue what's going on necessarily.
yeah, but I mean, it's good. It's just nice to have a second set of eyes.
Yeah.
And also, if you're not happy about anything, let's just say it, you know. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
I always really love this camera shot when you see us turning onto the downwind leg. But we're still going through the climb here, guys, getting up to 2,000 feet. But I just love the fact that you can see the aerodrome in the distance, that historical Duxford aerodrome, as we climb up. You might be asking why we're only going up to 2,000 feet. That's because we need to keep separation from Stansted's Class D airspace that's at 2,500 feet above us. Once we get out of that area, still heading kind of north-northeast, we'll then climb up even higher.
Duxford traffic, Golf Papa Kilo, 2,000 feet, departing the circuit to the northeast.
We were now on our way, departing the circuit to the northeast.
Confirm me, Golf, Duxford radio, runway 24, left landing use, the 1009.
Look, we're on track. Right in front of this Boast Edmonds. Actually, you can see the sea. There you go, there's the sea there.
Oh mate,
So
wow.
you fly over there. Well, it's beautiful today, isn't it? It's gorgeous.
It was a beautiful day for sightseeing, seeing all of the Norfolk, Suffolk coast. Absolutely gorgeous. But work still had to be done. We were moving further away from Duxford and nearer to Lakenheath, and I was mindful that I wanted a traffic service, so at least someone on the ground at Lakenheath's aerodrome was looking out for us.
I'm going to need you to do some worky works actually. Let's speak to Mildenhall instead. So 128, that's 1900.
And yes, you are watching Dane put the frequency into the radio. How about that?
Lakenheath radar, Golf Bravo Romeo Papa Kilo, request traffic service.
Golf Bravo Romeo Papa Kilo, Lakenheath approach, squawk 0407.
Squawk 0407, Golf Papa Kilo.
So as I've said before in previous videos, when we get a squawk number, we pop that into the transponder and then we'll show up under the relevant position, altitude and aircraft on Lakenheath's air traffic control.
Golf Papa Kilo, squawking 0407.
Strict 65, 5 miles, approach 6, turn left heading 320, maintain 2000 watts optional equalizer, clear ILS runway 29 approach.
Sometimes you just know they're not talking back to you, especially when they talk like that, and you've just got to sit tight and wait for them to come back. If you wait a little bit longer, just give them another quick radio call.
Golf Papa Kilo, radar contact 15 miles south of Lakenheath with traffic service, say altitude.
Altitude 4,000 feet on 1015, Golf Papa Kilo.
Golf Papa Kilo, roger.
Oh, cool, got a traffic service now.
It's weird hearing the Yanks, isn't it?
Yeah. But now, like when it comes to traffic, I mean he's sat over there at the moment and we are now, he's like looking out for us. Because we're squawking, he can see us on his screen.
Yeah.
And all is well, basically.
So you might have heard me say we're at 4,000 feet on 1015. What that means is that I'm at 4,000 feet on a QNH of 1015. Now the QNH is a pressure setting that we put into our aircraft altimeters, and this setting can change as we move around the country or as different pressures come in and out of our air weather systems. If the QNH had changed between Duxford and Lakenheath, which is quite unlikely, it would have read a new one out to me and our altitude would have changed slightly by 50 or 100 feet or whatever the QNH change was. But from there we know locally that every other aircraft is on that QNH setting and that accurate altitude and separation can be maintained. It's really important to get regular updates on QNH and QFE while you're flying around on cross-country navs. Anyway, my 10-minute repeat timer is up on my watch. Time to do a Frida check.
Just swapping tanks. I'll just do it, I have a 10-minute timer on here, just do it every 10 minutes, just so we keep the plane nice and level.
So we're flying along, doing our checks, everything's going absolutely brilliantly, and then that traffic service that we've got coming out of Lakenheath springs into life, and just look at my reaction when they call us up and say traffic.
Golf Papa Kilo traffic, 12 o'clock, 3 miles southbound, type unknown altitude, and kids 1,100.
Roger, we'll keep an eye out for traffic, I have no visual at the moment, Golf Papa Kilo. 12 o'clock.
What did he say, altitude?
1,000 feet, so it could be below us, probably a helicopter or something. But never know.
So there you go, that's what a traffic service is really good for. It's an extra pair of eyes of someone who's not sat in a plane. They're sat down in their control room and they're thinking there could be a separation issue, so they'll just call you up like they did there and you're looking out of the window. The nasty thing he said was 12 o'clock, so I was like, wow, it's right in front of us. But they're only at 1,000 feet and we're at 4,000 feet, so there shouldn't be an issue, but that doesn't stop you looking out of the window, trying to find them, trying to see them, and just trying to keep them in visual range so you know where they are at all times. In this case, we never got to see them, and after 5 or 10 minutes you think, well, they must have passed, and we'll move on. Shortly after that we moved away from Lakenheath and they terminated our traffic service. You just feel a bit naked after they do.
Golf Papa Kilo, verify you're continuing on that northeastbound heading.
Roger, continuing on northeasterly heading for about another 10 minutes, Golf Papa Kilo.
Golf Papa Kilo, roger, radar service terminated, squawk 7,000, frequency approved, have a good flight.
Squawk 7,000, good day, Golf Papa Kilo. So now we're back in on our own again.
We flew onward for another 10 minutes and then started to do a turn back towards Duxford.
Oh look, so there's an old aerodrome down there, see that? Yep, that'll be
There's so many abandoned airfields in East Anglia and Lincolnshire, all remnants of World War II.
But what a gorgeous day, such a shame we sort of bottled out going over the clouds. When we were back over at Duxford it looked like it was endemic, if that's the word. Endemic clouds. It's just come down a bit as well, I think.
Without really realising it, this is actually the highest I've flown in Papa Kilo, so at about 4,000, 4,500 feet, but definitely one of those days for quite a lot of carb heat because it was freezing conditions outside and really, really moist air.
So we can tell our carb temperature with this little dial there. So it's slowly dropping. When it gets like really low, the engine will start running rough because what the carburetor's doing is a venturi, so it can freeze and it will start allowing less and less fuel in. And a lot of issues for pilots, the fact they just forget about it, which is why for me having that there is really good. But look, if I now put some carb heat in, temperature will go up, but it'll drop the revs because you're putting hotter air back into the engine.
Right, okay.
And that has got less explosive power than what you'd have with cold air.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it works. But look, now it's back up again. And then, right, okay, done that now. and you see the revs will creep up.
Carb temperament slowly go down.
Exactly, and it's just a cycle, constant cycle. But like I remember when I was doing my cross-country nav, like I flew from Duxford to Norwich, then all the way down to Clacton. So I had to land at Norwich. They rate your landing. You go in there for a cup of tea and just chill out for 5 minutes, just sort your head out, and take off. Because Norwich is an international airport, so you've got take off from there, head due south to Clacton with a map, a compass, and a stopwatch. And that route from Duxford, from Norwich to Clacton, is just fields. There's no real towns. The only thing you've got to guide you is the fact that the sea should always be on your left. If it's not on your left, then something bad's happened.
Wattisham approaching traffic, Golf Papa Kilo, transferring to Lakenheath approach 128.900.
So as we're on the way back, we're going to go back onto Lakenheath radar and try and get a basic or traffic service. See if you can notice the things I mentioned earlier on about the QNH pressure setting and what altitude we've got. I'm pretty sure he gives us a new QNH. I'll try and zoom in on the altimeter so you can see the difference that makes to our altitude in this local pressure setting area.
Lakenheath approach, Golf Bravo Romeo Papa Kilo, request traffic service.
Golf Papa Kilo, Lakenheath approach, verify altitude 3,700.
3,900 on a QNH of 1015, Golf Papa Kilo.
Golf Papa Kilo, roger, maintain that altitude basic service.
Maintain altitude basic service, squawk 7,000, Golf Papa Kilo.
Hasn't given us a squawk number. It just knows where we are already. There can't be anyone up in the air. Must be really quiet.
Golf Papa Kilo, Lakenheath, QNH 1012.
QNH 1012, Golf Papa Kilo.
Because obviously our pressure's changed, which means our heights are constantly different.
Right, okay.
Because, the sun's coming up.
We continued our flight back past Bury St Edmunds. You can see the sugar store there. And once past Bury St Edmunds, we changed frequency to Duxford and did a powered descent back down towards the wind farm, which is a recognised location for the guys at Duxford and always a good place to call for rejoin and get the information for the airfield before joining the circuit. Plus, it lets people on Duxford's frequency know from quite far out where you are, what you're doing, and that you're approaching the airfield.
Duxford information, Golf Papa Kilo, 1,500 feet over the wind farm. Can I have the QFE again, please?
Golf Papa Kilo, the QFE 1009er, report 4 mile final.
QFE 1009er, report 4 mile final, Golf Papa Kilo.
So now we've got the QFE, that is the local pressure setting on the ground at the runway of Duxford Aerodrome. So now as we come into approach, we've got an accurate idea of how high above the aerodrome runway we will be when we come into land.
It's amazing how much bounce here is, isn't it?
And once you get up into that clean air, it's like, it's just lovely.
Just flow through it like nice food butter.
Nice food butter, bruv.
Nice food butter, boy.
I'm also having to hold the nose down now. Let's get that sorted out.
I can't see nobody.
So he wants to score.
Contact X-ray, when you're on the hard taxiway, just hold for a moment please. I'm not sure if we've got a marshal for you or not.
Golf Tango X-ray, just hold before the tarmac.
Off of it in. How much we got? 6 minutes, that's fine. 2,500, hold the nose up. Into the white arc. Let's just actually hold it up with the trim. And on stage flat. There we go. Keep an eye out for traffic now, Dano. Oh yeah. Don't have to worry about him. Put that car key in now. Right, so brakes, undercarriage, Mr. Rich.
Golf Papa Kilo, 4 mile final.
Golf Papa Kilo, I've got no traffic to factor straight in, report 2 miles.
Report 2 miles, Golf Papa Kilo.
Duxford information, Golf Uniform Foxtrot Charlie Bravo, inbound from Cambridge.
Inbound from Cambridge, where are you?
Golf Charlie Bravo, runway 24, left-hand circuit, the QNH 1013 and the QFE 1009.
So a fairly quiet circuit as we come into our 4 mile final. And now we're going to really configure the plane. We're at about 800 feet there on the QFE. We've got one stage of flapping and we're going to configure the plane for landing. You've seen me do this a million times, so we'll just drag her in and hopefully get a nice greaser just to end this lovely flight before Dane and I go up the pub.
Golf Papa Kilo, final, runway 24.
Golf Papa Kilo, runway 24, land at your discretion, surface wind 220, 9 knots.
Roger, Golf Papa Kilo.
Right, final landing checks, fuel pump on.
Golf Charlie Bravo, final.
Good. Let's get a final bit of
Golf Charlie Bravo, roger. Call you back.
Beautifully timed as well, Jimbo. 10:54.
200 feet carb heat, cold. Might need the afterburner. A little bit of the balloon. Should we go around? Oh, fuck it, let's get in.
Permission to vacate across the grass, back to parking, Golf Papa Kilo.
Got Papa Kilo, A-firm, vacate right now please, cross the grass runway to parking.
Vacating right, across the grass, back to parking, Golf Papa Kilo.
Hold the nose up and then it just gets bogged down like, don't want to move no more.
Got Papa Kilo, do you need fuel?
A-firm, Golf Papa Kilo.
You'll be number 3 for fuel, so there'll be a fair delay, is that okay?
I'm going down the pub, so it doesn't matter, Golf Papa Kilo.
Alright, thanks.
So with that little jokey woke that I'll probably get told off for, that's the end of this video. And it's also the end of the year for Times with James. I will be back with another flying video very early in the new year, but also I shall be embarking and looking to the future with the tuk-tuk interviews that I hope to be doing once lockdown is lifted, and also the creation of silly adverts that I'd really love to do, and hopefully later in the summer in 2021 going to Lithuania with travel restrictions permitting to make the film that I plan to do in May of this year. And in the new year I'm going to restart my vlogs too. Thank you so much for your support throughout 2020. It's been an extremely difficult year for everybody in the private sector, so let's hope that next year we'll be allowed to go out again, see our friends, contribute to the economy and save lives. And if you think that's controversial, I won't see you in 2021. Have a great new year, guys. Thanks for your support. See you soon.
Cool, isn't it? Cheers guys, see you soon.
See you later.
Bye bye.
Bye. Goodbye, driver. Goodbye, driver.
Right. Radio's off. Right, let's do that.